just summon me?
Because I am working with someone. Because I'm working with someone. I
A
have a treaty
mutual.
with. I have a treaty with a mutual acquaintance.
All right, so you know what I am, who I am, everything.
I know everything, and it is not my business.
Very well then. Then I assume you won't care if I do some of a job our mutual friend gave me within the city.
If you're caught, and it's illegal, I there's little I can do to pardon you. People will be out for blood,
All
but
right.
I will not actively have my guards looking for you.
Works for me. I'll be sure not to be caught.
See that you're not. And with that,
Okay. I'm gonna give a respectful bow of my head.
he bows his as well, and he moves out.
All right. So there's some intrigue for the recording.
Yeah. Once Eris comes back in, Stone's gonna look to Fizzbop and the rest of the group and say, well, here's what I recommend we do from here. Now, of course, Fizzbop, you have final say on this, but here's my thoughts. Oh.
1 second.
Yeah?
As you're doing that, the portly fellow has his hands folded, walks over. He was angry, wasn't he?
Very.
Is there anything you all would like? Food, drink?
Stone looks at him and says, do you happen to have any books on, or would you happen to know where the Royal Library is? I'd like to visit it before I leave.
You remember? You've been to the temple, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, you'd have to march down that hallway again.
Is it down in the temple, or?
Yes.
But I thought they said that they don't have any personal information about Dardishio's family there. That was only in the castle.
Oh, Dardishio's family. All right.
Yeah.
So, you'd have to request that sort of information from Dardishio himself.
There goes that option. Okay. Stone just kind of smiles and said, well, some wine and some bread might be a good idea then to start off. We might be here for a little bit.
Actually, yeah, that's a very good point. You might need rations.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
Breakfast would be good.
very well. I will have food brought up to each of you.
Thank
Can
you.
I get a? Damn it, ambulance! Urus just opens his mouth and the sound of an ambulance comes out.
Creepy.
Should we end the episode after we make our decision?
It's up to Paul. I mean, yeah, no, I mean,
We can go as late as we want, honestly.
I'm sorry, what? You broke up. I didn't hear you.
Do you have to be somewhere, Olivia?
I mean, not necessarily. I have things to do, and I think my mom is getting antsy with me up in my room, not doing like my chores and stuff.
All right, how long would that take you? Do you think?
I don't know, like an hour?
Well, tell you what. After we've made our decision, we can take a little bit of a break. We can continue and just assume Quillith is there.
Okay.
Okay.
I could do with taking a break to get some food, honestly.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so after this, we'll take a break, let everybody get some food,
Okay.
which will take up a little bit of time. So the time you would be away would be pretty minimal.
Okie doke.
So, Stone's gonna look at the group and say, see, here's my idea. Ernest mentioned he had stuff to do, so I say we delay 2 days. Allow him to get his chance to do whatever he has to.
3.
2. And while we're doing this, I'm gonna go back and check their library, but I think we should head to Stonehold. I think it'd be best to be prepared for a fight there. We might be dealing with a full-on siege of Stonehold. I know the place very well, and it is easy to get into with a small party. However, I think we should head back to Stonehold and prepare for full-on war, and await Dardishio's orders from there.
How many days ride is it?
Paul?
It's a week's ride. It's a
Okay.
week's ride with a small group.
Okay.
Well, we're also dealing with 300 Vanguard, so
Yeah, that's including the Vanguard.
Yeah, so Stone looks and
Okay.
says, well, yeah, we've also got a vanguard of 300 that'll be protecting us, and we'll need to prepare for a full-on siege with Bronze Cap City. It's mostly underground, which means most of my siege equipment and stuff that we've built up would be pretty much useless, so we're gonna have to figure out a full battle plan. And seeing as Theoden's actually been there, me and him will probably be discussing on ways to get into it.
Well, not to, step on anybody's toes and whatnot, but y'all ever thought about just walking in the front gate? Small group?
Yeah, I thought about that, except he's got machine cannons that could kill you in an instant.
Well, not if you don't have no reason to.
He knows who I am, and he knows
I
I'm out
reckon
for blood.
I reckon I can get my hands on some magic to disguise you. That won't be no trouble.
I still wouldn't trust it. I'd rather march with an army rather than worry about that. If you want to go enter the city and try and kill him yourself, then I will be more than happy to accommodate whatever payment would be required.
It's an option, but you'd be going up against minds of other dwarven arcanists as well as a couple of gnome arcanists there, and they are very good with illusions.
Well, that's a right proper point. But I figure, it wouldn't hurt to send someone into the city in advance to try to gather up some intel, shake up what they can,
Well, our best option in this case would honestly to convince Bronze Cap to do a marriage alliance with my own house and convince him to ally with me rather than fight. But we'll figure that plan out when we get there. In the end, I do have a mage's college as well at my disposal of a good amount of magic users, mostly druids and the such.
Do you have any wizards of any kind?
I have an entire college and my 2 daughters that are both magic users.
Interesting.
You lay
He
a
sort of
finger.
rubs his hands together.
Stone looks and says, "You lay a finger on one of my daughters, and I will cut every little bit of you off."
I would never dream of it.
Yeah, so that's what the last man said.
Knowing how Stone looks, I wouldn't dream of it either.
Stone
By the way,
pulls out a small painting of his daughter, both Rose and Lokiana. Lokiana is a wild elf that's rather beautiful, except for the light stubble on her face, and Rose is actually a full-on what. Basically, imagine Daenerys Targaryen with short hair and purple eyes.
gotcha.
So, Stone's ilk isn't well. His sons aren't pretty, but Stone looks at it and says, "Anyways, that's what my recommendation is from here. Give Ernest his chance to do what he has to do while we go about preparing for the journey, and then head out to Stonehold and prepare for war."
Your men aren't rambunctious sort, are they?
Depends what you mean.
Well, they're carrying a nominal wild elf through as well.
Well, seeing as one of my first daughter, Lokiana, is half wild elf, they shouldn't be bothered by it. They're used to taking orders from her, so she does control units. So yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue as long as the wild elf here it doesn't mouth off to any of them enough to where they're going to want to kill her. We should be good there.
Just looking after people is all.
Well, if any of them try anything, they'll have to deal with me and my son. So, and these men are vanguard. These are well-trained troops, and they're my personal troop usually when I'm out in battle.
All right.
So.
Oh, okay. Well, Fizzbop, that means the decision's up to you. Stonehold or stay here?
Stonehold.
All right. Ernest, I know you got business, but Fizzbop's saying it's probably the best idea to go to Stonehold. If it can wait, I'll see what resources I can get you to make your job easier.
If it can wait. What? I thought we were waiting 2 days first.
Would you want to wait 2 days, or would you want to get a head start? Well, supposedly there's an army. And we could either wait and maybe get word back from the scouts, and we'd also run the risk of potentially getting, crushed in a tide of orcs.
Yeah, Stone also. Oh, go ahead.
What if we start the journey from an unexpected direction. That way, like a 2-day journey on a roundabout, that way we'd at least have a little bit of a head start, and we wouldn't run into any battlefields.
Stone looks at her and says, well, the problem with the Savage Lands is there's battlefields everywhere. Anywhere there's a clan, there's war. The biggest issue is just getting ahead of whatever army Bronze Cap has. Because if we get caught next to that, we're going to die. There's nothing my 300 men can do. There's no way even Theoden's, being a Silver Strider will matter. They will kill him outright just like the rest of us. They won't want
Remind
witnesses.
Remind me what it's so.
Oh, I don't think they'd kill me because that actually means risking having all of the Silver Striders' resources pulled from the area and a potential genocide.
Not if they're convinced, or if they believe that you are working for me.
We also need to get supplies because we're going out into an area that doesn't have much water.
Yeah, and Stonehold is, although uses water from the ocean, it has to be boiled, and so. Stone looks at it and says, well, like I said, suggest we wait 2 days and then leave, so that way we can gather our supplies. I will alert my men to be prepared. It'll give Urus a chance to get his equipment, and then we can go from there.
I say we should invest in a wagon pulled by creatures native to that realm. Do you have domesticated lizards out there? I think they'd survive the longest.
No, most of my men walk by foot. And carry what supplies they can on their backs.
One of the shanty towns outside of the wall could probably.
I'll take a look at that.
All right.
So.
I don't think your horse would get very far.
So a day delay, 2 days, 3 days. What?
I vote 3.
2 days. All right. Fizzbop says 2 days delay, so that's what we're going to do.
3 maximum if there's a problem.
Okay.
3 if there's a problem. Don't cause any problems.
Stone just smiles and says, sure.
Especially you.
I will stay in the palace grounds.
All right.
Okay. If we've only got 3 days, then.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We've got 3 days if a problem happens. 2 days otherwise.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
So Stone starts heading out towards the wall, so he can send a letter through to his men.
All right.
All right.
So, okay. As he's doing that, Urus is going to turn back to Quill. Right. Okay, so, since we got this sort of deadline going on now, figure if it, within your convenience, naturally, if you could manage to rustle up those herbs I mentioned.
Quill inclines her head and says, I promised I would help, and so I will.
Very well. And I'd like to roll Apothecary again
All right.
for a second herb.
Once everyone's decided what they want to do, we'll call it there, right, Paul?
I mean, I'm going to help
Well,
Urus.
after that, we'll take a break.
Okay.
We can all stay in the call, but everybody can go get their food, take bathroom breaks, let Olivia do her thing.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. 20. 13 plus 7.
All right. You can pretty much list what you need.
Okay.
You need to,
I would like Belladonna, if possible.
Okay, so would I roll, like, Knowledge Nature to see if that's in the area, or... Yeah?
knowledge nature, see if it's in the area.
Alright, I got a 25.
Oh,
Oh yeah, you'd be able to tell where Belladonna is, where it's growing. You'd be
Okay.
able to tell where everything is.
okay.
Nope.
Question for the GM.
What's up?
Is there enough time still in the day for Urus to copy a spell into his book?
Oh yeah, it'd only take a couple of hours. It's noon.
Okay. So yeah. Then while we're on break or whatever, then Urus is going to go somewhere and try to copy Disguise Self into his spell book.
Yeah. Stones, once he gets the letter out, is going to go try and get permission from Dardisio to see if he can find any royal book on his family or anything like that, just to find out general information.
I guess Quill is going plant hunting.
Okay, Quill can go plant hunting. Fizzbop and Thaden will be on the other side of the walls buying lizards.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Giant lizards.